Juste 5 more minutes and I would go home.
Welcome back, everybody. My name is Arrayas, and today we are discussing Vices, my second studio album based on Dante's Inferno. The song being highlighted at the moment is 5 More Minutes, which is the 5th track on the record, and the 5th, Circle of Hell, is Wrath and Sullenness, or Anger, depending on what source you reference. But when I first found out all the circles of hell, I heard, or like when I researched everything, it was Wrath and Sullenness. So that's kind of why this song fell into that placement, even though Anger, I guess, can kind of wrap that up, because anger can be a lot of different things, I suppose. However, today we are with Brett and Andi Jane, both local artists in Nashville, which is super cool. And I love that I get to have people that now know my work and I know theirs, and we've worked together with other content and in this song in particular a little bit, and kind of get their take on things. So yeah, I'll pass it to you, Brett.
Yeah, so, we've reviewed a lot of your music. We've went through this album, we're now on the 5th song, we've got a taste of what this project is. And I'm, like I've said before in many of these, there's so many different elements to your song, and it's just, there's so much behind, the instruments and the backing vocals and all these different things. And, one thing that really stood out to me, with 5 More Minutes is just the harmonies and just the build-up. And I know that you said that Andi has done a lot of those on this song. And so just kind of want to, talk about how you guys came together on this, how you, figured out that she was going to play her role in it, and kind of your relationship, if you guys want to take it from there, just...
Absolutely.
Just interested in that.
So yeah, I met Andi and Jane at Puckett's. As like I said, my first show was at Puckett's, which is now Fox and Lock. But there was a writer's round at Puckett's, and she was kind of the headliner on the writer's round. And that was the first time I ever saw her play. And like to this day, she's always been a very big like vocal model, I think, for me especially. I think the just amount of control that she has with her voice and the uniqueness and how bright and like just airy and theatrical that it can be sometimes is just incredible, and takes some like immense technique, but then also her like softer and more like sullen type, tones that she can kind of produce are amazing too. So her versatility vocally is, I think, what really made me want to have her on this song. And I've honestly, like, even in the studio, the producer Caleb said it too, like, no one has ever done a better like Arrayas voice. Yes, I know. Like he was like, when she doubled, like she sounded like you. Like, again, so you have just like this very adaptable voice where in your own music, like it shines through and it's so bright and just cutting and striking and edgy. But like you also have such an ability to just do incredible harmonies and then just blend with whoever you're singing with too, which the fact that you can adapt like that has always been like the primary reason I look up to Andi Jane. And then also, though, like, she's a dope songwriter. I love all of her songs. And so we've now since written a song together, and we hopefully will write more songs together. And yeah, having her on this record has been, for a fellow red-haired lady, has been an absolute pleasure,
Awesome.
But anyways, yeah, no, Andi, how is it knowing me, working with me? How do you fall into this album? Why is this your favorite song, and et cetera?
Let's let it all out.
Well, first of all, that first writer's round that we did together, yes, I was sort of the headliner, but normally when people do a writer's round, you come alone and you play your songs alone, solo. And Arrayas was the only one who brought the band. So they're a little bit of a trio, it was a cajon, whatever. So she was like, and this is just who you are. So this is what's expected and what everyone else is doing. And then this is Arrayas. And I just really admired that about you. You just went for it. Yeah.
Since I have maybe cut back on bringing the entire band to the writers round, because people look at me and they're like, dude, there's 4 people already on this stage. Get your cajon and guitarist and piano off. Stop it.
Right.
So now we just have to like start booking writers rounds with all these people so that they can play on each other's songs. Yes. But yeah, no, that was definitely how I made a statement though, kind of coming here, was with performance. And so I think that was also how Andi with her like red keyboard and everything, again, has always had a brand. So the fact that I feel like we're very similar in that way, that we've always kind of seen, like we've stood out to people, whether it be an aesthetic or sound or, you know, songwriting, whatever. It's always been like oh, this isn't what I hear every day, but familiar and relatable.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Yes. And definitely like that part of you was very inspiring to me, because I feel like I was kind of sinking into this. Okay, people are doing what's expected. People are just kind of going through the motions and doing their performances, and nobody was like really like going for it and just performing. And so that's something that I've really enjoyed watching with you, is seeing how you take ideas. You're not just up there singing your songs. You have a whole plan of action before you take the stage, and you've got costumes and you've got glitter and you've got body paint, pasties. And so you just really upped the game, and it was such an inspiration to me as a performer. And just your friendship is the same. You're always pushing people around you to be better, for you to be better, and I'm just so inspired by you as a person and as a performer. So just wanted to say that.
Oof. Okay.
That's incredible.
That is incredible.
I would love to know, Andi, what it was like for you to be. Obviously, you're an artist and you have, I'm sure you have music that is out on streaming platforms, but just being in the backseat, I guess, for another artist to help their project shine. Like, what was that for you to be, in that mode versus being like the front man, I guess you would say?
I love it. I love doing background vocals. Like, I love adding to somebody else's vision, and I love being in charge and being in the front seat for sure, but taking the back seat is just fun. It's a different part of my creative mind, and it was just really fun.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And she's just such a good vocalist that and has a great ear, for the background vocals and the harmonies and everything, that it comes very naturally. And the texture that you added was so iconic. Like, there was a moment when, Zach was showing, I think his parents even, that he took all the instrumentation out and just played the entire track of just our isolated vocals together. And it was one of the coolest things I've ever heard.
Wow.
This a cappella 5 more minutes track. And when that bridge hit, it was amazing. That it still had impact, because there's a lot of presence, I think, not only in our personality, but in our voices, speaking and singing and all this stuff. So, also something about taking the backseat, and whether you're in the foreground or the background or whatever you're doing, I've opened for Andi Jane and various other of her projects, band shows, and it's never an issue when you believe in the other person and you are friends with the other person and you enjoy the vision. It's never an ego competition.
Exactly.
It's truly wow, I love what they're doing. I want to be a part of what they're doing, because ultimately, then not only are they more inclined to obviously like me and support me, but also you did something good for somebody else. And I think that being an artist has made me appreciate other art a lot more. And I actually get a lot less jealous of other people, and a lot less envious of what they did or what they got and what I didn't. It doesn't really matter to me anymore, because the vision is what matters and the message is what matters. And so when you get other people that are in your corner like that and believe in your message and vision, and vice versa, it's just irreplaceable.
Right. For sure. And I mean, I'm familiar with that as well. I mean, in today's culture, it could be very competitive, and it's good. It's a good thing to be competitive. It makes you work harder, but also not letting jealousy get the best of you, and just knowing that everybody's on their own path and everybody has their own stride that they have to take. And when you can get that, and then get that with a group of people that are helping you do things but also trying to do their own thing as well, it really blends together, and I can see that between the two of you. So
totally
super cool.
I've seen a lot of people, I feel in Nashville especially, where it kind of has this this I don't know, this air, this preconceived notion that everybody's nice, and right, and now we laugh, exactly, right, and I'm getting there, and everybody's nice, and I'm kind of no, not everybody's nice. There's this very this Southern hospitality that almost comes off as kind of fake, especially for us. We're both from the Midwest, too. We're both from Illinois. We were both born there. That we kind of see this as we're this seems a little disingenuous, you know. And so I think that a lot of people told me when I first got here, like, well, we all rise together. We all rise together. And then I'm like, we don't even talk now. What do you mean we rise together? You know, like, and that's fine. Like, we don't all have to be like besties and support each other to the max. Like, I think that can come off as kind of fake too, but like building authentic relationships with the people around you and not actually living that message, even though I heard it from, and it's no like one person, it's a million different artists that'll tell you that here, you know, and they'll all be like, no, this is a place, this is a home for musicians. Like, you make your own home.
Right.
You build your own, you know, family, your chosen family around you. And the artists that do that for you and that end up becoming friends or whatever, they're along with you for the ride. And that's who you need to like hold close and appreciate. And I think that throughout everything and many different artist to artist relationships, Andi has kind of been the most important one to me.
That's
you
awesome.
know? Yeah. So yeah.
That's great.
I'd like to. Oh, go ahead if you have.
Well, I was gonna say I love everything that you said, and it's very personable and very relatable as well. I'm sure for anybody that's gonna be watching, or just for me as an artist, I'm sure for Andi as well. It's just, especially in a city like Nashville, and even if you're in LA or Atlanta, wherever you're at, where music's prominent, there's tons of people trying to do the same thing. That message really sticks, and I'm sure that it'll stick for anybody that listens. But I wanted to get back onto, the song, five more minutes, right? And I really wanted to ask you, how much does 5 more minutes actually help? Like, it could be, it actually doesn't have to be 5 more minutes, right? I mean, it's something that some people say, like, I just need 5 more minutes, or whatever the case may be, but like, truly, like, what does that mean for you? And like, what does that mean for the body of this song?
Sure, yeah. I think that writing good songs sometimes is taking a very basic concept and expanding upon it instead of trying to fit a bunch of complex words or ideas into a song. I feel like this idea of like always running out of time or always needing more time, and everyone can relate. Everyone snooze their alarm, in the morning.
I did this morning. So.
Exactly right. If we're just 5 more minutes of sleep, and I mean, and how it relates to now expanding it into this whole thing is, it's again a relationship, and it's not necessarily it isn't about the breakup or a heartbreak or something like I think kind of played out on this end. But I like writing songs about the gray areas, about the nuance, not the heartbreak or the happy or anything like that, but like the moment where it's gonna go down, but it hasn't yet, and you just want a little bit more time, And so I literally wrote this song. This was the first song I actually wrote for this entire record. I wrote this song in 2018.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
That's been a minute.
It's been...
Yeah.
It's been long.
It's been 5. More than 5.
It's been at least 10. And so I think that that's so interesting that it's actually the song I'm the most proud of, too. And it was still the first song that I wrote for this record. But I wrote it it was the first song that, like, just fully came to me it happened in 10, 15 minutes.
That's awesome.
Just all of it, just sort of poured out. And it was the first song that was distinctly different. We haven't really talked about this before, but I base a lot of my album, or all of my albums, around a color, which is for artists that hear music and see color, it's synesthesia. Yeah. And so this has been my whole Red album, and this was the first song that had a distinctly different vibe than the other album of music that I was kind of working on, which was Purple. And I was like, ooh, this is so different than anything else I've written before. Let's go in this vein now. Mm-hmm. And I wrote it on the highway driving. So don't text and drive, kids. It's not safe. But I'm still going to out myself on this one. And I was driving down I-88 in Illinois coming from work. And I was coming from my boyfriend's house at the time, and he always did this thing where he was like, I would be like, I don't want to go yet, because I'm like 19 years old and I need a man or something.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I don't want to go yet. Just I'll leave in 5 minutes or whatever. And then he'd be like, babe, you said that an hour ago. And I, literally that line that you said 5 more minutes an hour ago. And it was in that moment that I went, just kidding, now I am leaving. And I ran to my car and started writing this song because it was all coming to me. And I also realized that he never supported my music. Mm-hmm. And in that moment, I was like, this is not this is not going to be my forever person.
Right.
I mean, obviously, I'm like a teenager. It's definitely, or 18 or 19 or whatever, like a very young adult. It probably isn't going to be my forever person. But you don't know that when you're 19.
Right.
And so, like, when I was like, wow, you don't support this. You don't care if I stay or go, or you do, but for all the wrong reasons. You want me to be something that I'm not. And I want to rule the world. And I see this big vision, and it's my internal struggle of this wrath, of this like, this energy, but then also the sullenness and the muting of myself that I had to do for him, you know? And so I wanted more time with him because it was easy and it was comfortable, but I wanted to also rule the world. So all these lines are structured as, I want to wear the crown, I want to steal the throne, I want to take my shot, but you hold the gun, and then it flips it over, you know? And you fall back into what's comfortable and what's easy. And so it's this constant dichotomy and internal like struggle of like, when is the time going to be that I have to go? Like, I know you're not the right person. You're even telling me to do it, but you said 5 more minutes, and that was an hour ago. I just keep sitting here in this comfort, you know?
I love that.
Yeah,
So,
that's great.
thank you.
Yeah, it really paints the picture of, you know, the entirety of the song and what it truly means, and, you know, what 5 more minutes actually mean to people, you know? And I've been in situations like that before. I'm sure everybody has.
Yeah, what does 5 more minutes mean to you? And then Andi, Jane as well.
You can tackle that first. I need to stew on it for a second.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I feel like 5 more minutes for me kind of means wasting your time. It's if you can't do it right now, then why? You know, 5 more minutes. It's like just a little bit more. 5 minutes isn't going to do anything. Do what you want to do. Make the decision you want to make. Do it now. Be confident about it. And I think that's the meaning of the song, is where you're saying that, you know, you're right. I keep getting 5 more minutes instead of doing what I need to do, which is jump out of this and burst out of this and just go.
Right.
Yeah. No, that's great.
And ultimately, though, like, I think that's super reflective of the fact that that's the vice talking. That's the beauty of the comfort, you know, of sitting in you know, and like, I don't know where I read this, and this is a very probably harsh paraphrase, but like, comfort is the enemy of success. And I don't think we as artists should fear change, you know, whether it be personal change or professional change or creative change, you know, like, I don't think we should fear that. I think that we should embrace it. And because that's the only way that we're going to grow, you know, and this fear that holds us back, even though like you have that energy, you have that anger, you have that drive inside you. Like, this is almost like my righteous anger song, you know? So if it's going to be anger, it's not a bad one. It's like no, come on. Like, you don't want this. You know better. Like, don't fear the change that's happening. Embrace it, you know?
Yeah.
And so what about you, Brett?
I don't know. I mean, 5 more minutes could mean a lot of things. I mean, 5 more minutes could be procrastinating on not doing something. You know what I mean? Like,
Totally.
I need 5 more minutes in this space before I make that step. Kind of like you were saying, you know, like, you just need to go for it. And that's kind of what it means to me. So.
Yeah. And sometimes it is a lot more mental than anything else. It's only like yourself holding you back.
Exactly.
You know? Even though you have this grand vision, you have this thing that you want, but you have no idea what to do. And all the steps in front of you are so overwhelming.
Right.
But yeah.
Awesome.
Well, thank you so much, you guys. This was just awesome. And everybody that is interested in 5 more minutes, you can listen to it on my second studio album, Vices, now streaming everywhere.
Je sais